Hello, this is Evan here from the Trade Risk on Wednesday, August 4th, 2021. We are intraday right now, and this is our weekly swing trade ideas video where we bring you stocks based on a variety of discretionary, technical, and quantitative criteria, all of which we're going to review and break down for you in just a moment. And as always, these videos are sponsored by our partners over at Investors Business Daily. We curate all of our long ideas from their stock lists. You can get access to their stock lists with a link in the description of this video. So we've got a handful of different trade ideas we're going to look at today, a handful on the short side actually as well. But before we jump into that, I want to touch on the market here, the S&P 500, and it is a bit of a trade idea in itself. And what I am specifically looking at is this recent range that we have started trading in. So if we look at this highlighted range here, for about the last 7 trading days, we really haven't gone anywhere in the SPY. You could basically think of this as, ever since the big earnings reports from last week where, we had just the whole Apple, Facebook, Google, and the like all reporting earnings. And we sort of, kind of popped up here, and we are just now kind of moving sideways. Market seems like it's figuring out what it wants to do. Now, historically, it's generally been a bullish resolve. We've seen a little bit of these brief rug pulls, but the market always kind of picks itself back up and then grinds higher. So I'm not sure if that's the case right here. There are certainly sectors that are leading here. We'll actually look at a couple of them in just a second, but this is got my attention here. How the market resolves this range is obviously going to impact the general sort of sentiment and flow of markets here. So if we soon, break out here to the upside and start making new highs, well, your short-term long ideas are going to definitely be, very much intact and probably working. But if we start breaking down here, then it is going to be a tougher road for the bulls, especially if we start losing the prior pivot high here. So something to keep in mind, something to pay attention to. It's 7 days, really tight range here, about 1% from low to high in the SPY. So let's keep an eye on that. Now, a couple of those sectors that are moving. So IBB has recently now just started, really moving pretty aggressively to the upside over these past 2 days. Remember, it has taken a much different pattern here, more of a rounded kind of consolidation over the course of this entire year. So this year is finally just getting back to its highs. So this looks quite a bit different than the SPY, but certainly gives some good, encouragement to maybe the bull case. And if we look at semiconductors here now also pushing to new highs here. We posted this chart last week on the Twitter stream and basically highlighting the move here and looking like it wants to start, really start breaking out. And lo and behold, here it is. So semiconductors, biotech, those are good risk sector appetites. If that continues, then, maybe it spells pretty good things here for what the SPY ends up doing out of this range. So that's a little bit of a kind of discretionary sort of observation there by me, some trade ideas kind of embedded there, but let's break down to some of our technical stock scan setup. So remember, this comes from specific TC2000 scans that we've written. They are on our website. They are available for download, and let's get into them. So the first one is ADI. I always like to start with fresh 52-week highs on volume. This is a free scan you can download on our website. It's looking for 2 very simple but very powerful things: new 1-year highs and doing it on volume, doing it on heavier volume. And so ADI here fits the bill. Take a look at the volume coming in. I'm recording this intraday right now, and it's already, about 200% at its average 1 month volume. And if we zoom out here, you can see it is trading very much at new highs. So ADI here, a little bit of a chase now, but certainly something that is working today and breaking out. Number 2 is CVGI. So this one is, I think it's hitting a couple of our scans, but what I observed it on was a scan that is looking for reclaiming the 200 period simple moving average. Lots of traders like looking at the 200-day simple moving average. And so we have a scan that is also looking at stocks that have been trading below it and are now popping up and closing back above a rising 200 SMA. And what I like more specifically about this setup is that it's coming at an actionable sort of price action area here. So we were trading around $9. We put in a little bit of a higher low, marginal higher low yesterday, and now we're getting this strong follow through day today. We're breaking over all of this resistance. So we're breaking out to new multi-week highs. We're reclaiming a 200 SMA. We're in a broader uptrend here. So there's lots of kind of confluence of some different technical indicators, factors that look pretty interesting here. So 200 SMA, that's the scan there if you're searching for it, reclaiming the 200 SMA on our website. And now we're going to get into some short ideas. There were a handful of different ideas on the short side, so let's bring out a couple of them. The first is NVST. So this one here is hitting our breakout. Let me take out this moving average now. This one was hitting our breakout failure scan. So essentially what this scan is looking for are stocks that attempt to break out to new multi-week highs over resistance, let's call it, but then fail and sort of move pretty aggressively in the other direction. You can see this is a pretty clear case of this. Of course, we opened down here, but the stock traded all the way up to, call it $44 here, tried to break out, reversed, and now it's, pretty aggressively on the sell side here at the lows of the day. So it's having a very, what I usually call a loud day, a day to take notice, and it is, in sort of a choppy range here. So I think on the sell side, if this weakness continues into the close, this could easily, kind of fall back down to the upper 30s here. It is in a longer term uptrend. So again, I just want to keep that context in mind. I think shorting markets, shorting stocks in general is more of an advanced technique. You have to be a bit of an experienced trader on the risk management psychology side. So keep that in mind when you're kind of sizing this up. But it does seem like, if we get a weak close here and some follow through, we could see these upper 30s again. So that's our breakout failure scan. Another stock that is hitting the radar here, and this has been, previously a lot on the bullish side. General Motors have been, a stock that has been moving up. Was breaking out and it was acting pretty well. But now it's getting a little bit sloppy up here, and especially on today's session. Now, today was an earnings day for it, so GM is got the catalyst that is making this move 9% lower at the time of recording. So that is the catalyst, but from a price structure basis, go to a weekly chart here, this could be developing, right? And it's very tricky in these strong kind of markets like we're in. I really hate, it's tough just calling these big structural shorts because they always, right when they look their worst, they end up finding that magic bid and then it turns into a continuation pattern. So I want to be a little, I definitely want to be careful here, but it does look like General Motors could be putting in some type of topping pattern here. Again, confidence on that call is sort of low, but I want to keep an open mind. This video is about putting stocks on watch lists, coming up with thesis on trade ideas, and then sort of watching it and making sure it follows through. So I don't want to try and make this big bold call that General Motors is topping, and yes, it's an absolute slam dunk short. It's just an observation here, and obviously this type of day falling back into support, heavy volume, big sell-off here, this is something to take notice of. So GM, that is another sort of short idea that is coming from our high volume week close scan. So it's looking for stocks that are, again, trading at the lows of the day, bigger ranges, heavier volume. That's the type of scan that this one is coming from. Last but not least is KIRK. This one here, so Kirkland's, is a stock that, in fact, we actually traded this and we took a loss on this. We were buying this up in this general area here, looking for support, coming in for like a support play, and it obviously did not hold, and we ended up getting stopped out of this trade in our Merlin trading system. So we no longer have a position here, took along, and it didn't work out. And now we're kind of looking at this here. and I am observing on a short-term technical basis. This is hitting our ultimate consolidation scan. So this is a short-term ultimate consolidation scan result. And what we're observing here is just, again, the tight range downtrend, lots of overhead supply now in this range here of traders, investors that were purchasing this stock up in here that are now underwater. And we are experiencing now more of an intermediate term downtrend. We're consolidating, and certainly, if this starts to break down, then we could start to get, another leg lower here. So KIRK, this is kind of a short idea. Again, it's a micro cap stock, so you got to be careful with the short trades. You got to make sure you're sizing risk. I don't know if there's an options chain on this. That might help as well, just so you don't get, any other major sort of catalyst here, or just to minimize your overnight risk. And there is a level down here, so right in here, kind of the year-to-date lows. So right around 1650, that's where it could be headed. If this starts to break down and, resolves this range lower, that could be a reasonable target down here to see how the stock reacts. So KIRK, that's our last idea there, coming from our ultimate consolidation scan. So that's it. That's what I have for this week's video. A handful of different looks there, a few more on the short side of this market. So something to keep an open mind about. And don't forget to keep an eye on that SPY range that we talked about at the start of the video. As always, I'd love to know what your takeaway is, what your favorite stock is. Are there any other stocks you're watching this week? Leave a comment below. Always love to hear what traders are up to. Thanks so much, as always, for tuning in. Every Wednesday, we do these trade ideas. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow along at the Trade Risk blog. Thanks so much, and we'll see you back here on Friday for the long-form market analysis video.